Today I'm going to be talking about my opinion on a kind of utopian future and what the human race and society should be aiming for, I guess. I've always been kind of interested in utopian future and kind of the perfect life. And I think everyone is. I mean, the whole idea of heaven is a perfect place where everyone's happy and everyone's living the life they want to live with the things they want, the people they want. And it's always seemed like you get that afterlife, and it's never really thought to be you get that during life. But I think if we were to kind of implement a society, and we were to have a kind of a life which everyone loved, it would make everyone happier, and obviously, and I don't think it's impossible to get. I think it's very difficult, and it will take hundreds of years at least to get to. But it is definitely possible. And I'm going to be discussing today on how I think we should get there and how to get there. Um, I've written down a few points on like different subjects, I guess, that need to be improved and need to be kind of worked on until we get to that point. So the first one I'm going to talk about is religion. Religion's a big subject, obviously. It's the cause of a lot of arguments and racism and clash of people and societies, and I think that if we were to have this perfect world, religion needs to kind of be gotten rid of, and religion can't be a thing, because I think if we are to have a perfect world, everyone has to respect each other and have similar or the same beliefs in almost everything. And I think when you hear that, the first thing you think of is that's bad. That's a bad thing. You don't want that. But I don't agree so much. I mean, if everyone's happy and if everyone's loving, what's so bad about that? I don't think it's such a bad thing, and I think it is something we should be aiming for. So with religion, I think to get rid of it, it's gonna be very difficult. I think the only way to do that is to kind of find new laws in science that can kind of explain how humans got here, how everything else got here. Because at the minute, we've got the Big Bang Theory, which makes sense, sort of, but we don't have too much evidence to back that up. We don't know. There are theories that the Big Bang is a continual cycle where it kind of explodes and causes all this life and all these organisms, and then eventually it'll just come back together and explode again and have all this life again. And we just don't know if that's true or complete bollocks. So I think if we were to get rid of religion, we do need to find out answers to these kind of questions. And at the minute, we don't have the resources to do so. We don't have the knowledge to do so. So it's going to take a very long time to get there, which is understandable. But yeah, so my first point is we do need to get rid of religion to kind of have this perfect future. Along with religion and race are the two big ones, I think, because we can't get rid of gender. I don't believe in gender binary and all that. I just no. You're born. There are two genders, and that's how it is. There's not 42, whatever they're saying now. And that's another thing that needs to change, because we have to agree that there are two. And I think in a few years' time, I think the gender binary will sort of just fade out. I think it's just a phase, hopefully. So yeah, so religion and race need to disappear. And race it's been proven that everyone's going to be mixed race in the future. It's how it's going to work. White people, Asian people, black people, they're all just going to form. Eventually, we're all going to have sex with each other and have babies which are mixed race. So, obviously, there's going to be shades of mixed race, but all in all, we're going to look sort of similar to each other, which is a good thing in my books. Yes, that's my first point about religion and how we need to get rid of race and dysphoria and kind of, yeah, the way that we judge each other. I guess that needs to be gotten rid of, because that's a big thing in our society today. So yeah, my next point is it's something called singularity theory. I saw it on the Joe Rogan podcast. Here, this is what I've been looking at. I saw it a few days ago. It's this scientist called Ben Gortzel, and he's explaining kind of what the singularity is to Joe Rogan. It's really interesting. You should give it a watch. He sort of talks about how once we once we realize how to create I think AI which is smarter than us, we actually have finished. Like we've sort of finished with everything. If we create AI which is super smart, way smarter than us, then that super smart AI can invent a new super smart AI which is smarter than them, and then that AI can blah blah blah, blah and it goes on and on and on. And so once we have a kind of an intelligent artificial intelligence which can think for itself, have a consciousness, then we sort of have figured out life in a sense. So yeah, so I think once we reach that stage, that's going to be very interesting to see how humans evolve and how what we do with that power, I guess. And I think we're not going to have a perfect society without that, because we don't know anything. We're not very intelligent as humans. We think in a very basic way. We all do. We have this kind of set of beliefs that are just there, like naturally there. And I think it takes a computer to kind of get rid of that and think completely logically. We have logical thinkers, but not complete logistics based people. We have people who do think with logic, like we have kind of Ben Shapiro's and whatnot. But I think a computer is just far beyond that, because doesn't have any emotion. It doesn't bring emotion into it. It thinks effectiveness and efficiency. And I think we do need that to kind of just for a lot of things. I mean, space travel, it would be really beneficial to have a computer, a supercomputer, which can think for us and come up with new ways to kind of have space travel, or theories on science that we just can't think of because we're not smart enough. But an AI would do that. Um, so, but the problem with the whole AI argument is the risks about artificial intelligence, and I completely agree with these. Elon Musk talks about it a lot. I fucking love Elon Musk. He's my hero. But he talks about it a lot, and he's scared of Google. That's the main one for him, and I'm with him with that, because Google basically own the internet. We didn't realize it, but we use Google for everything. I mean, YouTube, Google, like Google itself, it all goes through this one company who have so much power. It's ridiculous. And I'm just, 'cause apparently they're trying to work out some AI, and they're showing these clips of, oh, it can help farming, it can help blah blah blah. But when you have these super powerful people, super powerful companies, they're not gonna just think of the benefits for humans and our race. They're gonna think of how they can improve their own lives, how they can get more power, how they can get more money. And even if they don't think that way, the government do, and I think the CIA or whatnot, or whatever's above, it's, Illuminati. Don't want to start the conspiracies, but what may be above our governments, they may kind of give Google a hint, like, just give us a little bit of your of everyone's internet history. If you can just have a look around, and they are creating their own AI, and my theory is that they're gonna, in the future, everyone's gonna have their own file basically at Google. So me, Lawrence, I'm gonna have kind of a file where I enjoy this, that, and that. I get angry when I see this, and I enjoy when I see that. And they're gonna use adverts. They're gonna use this file to kind of get adverts personally for me. They already do this at the minute, but on a very small scale. So if you Google kind of, I don't know, football boots, you're gonna be shown football boots when you're on other websites. But I think it's gonna be on a much bigger scale than that. I think they're gonna be listening to us when we're having conversations with our friends or family. They're gonna hear what we're talking about, and it's scary to think about that they're always listening and that we're just walking money to them. It's a bad thing to think about, but it is reality, unfortunately. So that is the risks of AI. I think artificial intelligence is a good thing for humans, but it could be a very bad thing. It's the most likely thing to kill us, our own stupidity and our own greed, which is pretty scary. But yeah, So that's my second point about kind of artificial intelligence and robots and singularity theory and all that. And then I got another point about kind of how the government works. Because at the minute, basically each country has its own government. These governments control the whole country with a little bit of external talk from kind of things like the EU, United Nations, and stuff like that. But all in all, it's kind of one government per country. Um, and I think to have a kind of utopian future, that would we couldn't have that. I don't think that would work with one government because there's always going to be arguments and disagreements about stuff when we have one government per country. I think we're going to have at the smallest scale possible one government per continent. So kind of Europe has its own set of people, America has its own set of people and whatnot. I don't think one government per country is going to work. I don't think it can. And I don't think it should be one president or one prime minister who has the main power. I think it should be at least 15 or 20 people who sit in the table and they discuss things. I think you should have people from all walks of life who contribute. You should have poor people in there, rich people in there, black people in there, white people in there, just all sorts of people. So it's not what one set of people want. It's not rich white people, or everyone has their own say, everyone has their own thoughts and ideas, and that would work hopefully. It's never been tested, but I think hopefully it will in my lifetime, where you'll have, it's not people who go to Harvard or Oxford who run the country. I think it should be people who have worked at McDonald's, no, not worked at McDonald's, but intelligent people who grew up, who were born into a poor neighborhood, a poor family, but they've worked hard and they managed to get into this kind of table of people through hard work and dedication, but still remembering their roots, still remembering where they come from. Because the problem with humans and us, we're very corrupt people. We think of ourselves most of the time, and that's not good at all. But it's how we are as people. Hopefully, we will get rid of that eventually. But you don't see it happening. I mean, there are so many cases of like, it's not even corruption. It's all sorts of things that you get. Even this is quite funny, but even here, I'll show a clip. I'll show a little recording of this. There are some emails going back to back between kind of President Obama and I don't know who it was, but it was someone alongside President Obama, and they're talking about handkerchiefs, and basically handkerchief is a code word. Well, Alex Jones's theory and other conspiracy theorists is that handkerchiefs, I'm not sure what it was, but it's all a paedophile ring or a gay orgy kind of ring. I don't understand it too much, but Obama talking about spending $65,000 on hot dogs and pizzas, flying in from Chicago for a private party at the White House. It's just it's all a little bit dodgy, and there's all sorts of stuff going on that is just a bit strange with the government, and we don't get told much. We're stuck out of the loop very often, and there are cases of presidents or prime ministers who were good, honest people who sort of wanted to. They saw the corruption, they hated it, and they want to make a change. And the major example is John F. Kennedy. He obviously got assassinated, but his death is one of the most talked about, most believed conspiracy theories of all time, because he did a speech in the kind of the speech that he did about ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. You have to listen to that full speech, because in that speech he talks about secret government societies and keeping secrets from the public. And he's talking about all these things which you would never hear from a usually with a president you get a dull monologue, and it's like they're speaking to a brick wall and they have no emotion. But he seems very honest in it, and he seems very like he wants to tell people the truth. and then a few months later he gets killed off from a man who has connections with the CIA and the government, and it's just very odd. The whole thing is very odd. Um, he was the one president who didn't, and also I don't like Trump too much. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I think Trump is sort of different. You have to respect that. He he's obviously he likes his money, he likes to earn money, but he does seem to be different from the average president. He has emotion, which people say, oh, he's a Nazi, he's a racist. He's not. He loves his country, and that's obvious, and that's more than a lot of presidents. Um, so I think these kind of people, we can't have Theresa May's or Nixon's in the future. We need to have kind of people who are passionate about their country, who want to make a change. Um, get rid of all of the all of the corrupt political parties, political people, because there are some very dodgy people running our countries that we just don't know about, and it's kept very quiet, very secret. And that needs to get rid of if we want to live in a perfect world. Yeah, that speaks for itself, really. But moving on, I think I'm not too sure what they're called, but the whole communist, capitalist, all these kind of, I guess, systems. I think capitalism is the best one that we have at the minute, but it's not perfect. It's obviously not perfect, but it is the best one we have at the moment. But to live in a utopian future, we need something better than that. We need something that everyone likes, and it's so easy to say that, but so difficult to do that. But it is possible. Everything's possible, and it can happen. Hmm. But yeah, so I think to have a perfect world, we need to have a new system which everyone enjoys, everyone gets fair results from, no one feels hard done by. Because that's not perfect, is it? If people don't like the way that they're living. So yeah, so the fourth point is come up with a new system for the whole world, because we can't have capitalist countries and communist countries and Marxist countries. We have to have one. We shouldn't even have the term country. We should have world. We should have the world as one group of people. If you get what I'm saying. Yeah. And another thing, which doesn't, it's never, I've never heard people talk about it before, but the way that we live in the Western world is you're kind of born to your parents, you go to school until you're kind of 16 to 18 years old, and then you have the option to go to university or get a kind of a job. And then after you go to university, you get a job and you live this life where you get a job, you own a house, you get a mortgage, you buy a dog, you get kids, you have a wife, you have a wedding, and it's just it's like it's set out for you. It's like this is how you live, these are the steps that you take. You get your pension once you finish work, and then you retire and live happily ever after, but you don't. Most people hate retirement, and I don't think retirement's a great idea. I don't think the whole idea of being born, going to school, getting a job, I think we should have more choice in what we do. It's our lives. And I guess you could, but I think there are a lot of people who would prefer a life where they live on a farm, they own their own animals, they grow their own food, but that's hard to do, and it's sort of looked down upon. It's like, oh, stuck in the past, are we? Like, you should be buying an iPhone, you should be going to, you should have social media and all this. But I don't think everyone wants to live that way. I don't think I do, in all honesty. I think that we should have separate. You should have more choice in how you want to live, because we live in a very our lives are very set out for us by society, I believe, and I think if everyone's to be happy, we should have more choice in how we want to live our adult lives. I think that we should have certain areas of the world which are made just for farming, and you can move there and you can set up a farm and you can live this peaceful, relaxed life where you don't have to get too stressed, um, and live with your family, be close to your family, if that's what you want to do. Or if you want to become a coder and you love technology and all this, you should be able to move to a place sort of like Tokyo, but on a large scale, where everyone loves it. Everyone's all a techie and whatnot. I think there'd be an area for that. Or if you want to be a businessman, you want to, walk around with a big dick and whatnot. Uh, you should kind of be able to live like that as well. I think we're very judgy on people's opinions and how people want to act. I don't believe that's a good thing. Um, so I think we should have more choice in the lifestyle that we have. I think you should be able to have a lifestyle where you live in a farm, or you have a lifestyle where you do go to school, go to university, get a job, have a wife, have a kid, have a dog, blah blah blah. If you enjoy that life, have that life. No one should stop you from having that life. But if you also enjoy having a life where you're your own boss, and you want a peaceful, relaxed life without people being around you the whole time, you should be able to have that as well. I guess that's my last point. The kind of lifestyle. You should have more power over your own choices. So yeah, that's. I don't really know what to call this. I guess my opinions on a utopian future, on a perfect future for humanity, and for everyone to be happier. Because I think we're a very unhappy world at the minute, and I think social media is adding to that. I don't think we're going in the right direction. And it would be nice to have a change, or to just to hear people talking about something different, you know, because we seem to be going in a direction, and it seems to be hard to avoid that direction. So I just want to give my take on it, and I don't know how I would make changes, I guess. So yeah, I guess that wraps up the video. Um, but yeah, this is my second video now. I quite enjoy it. It's hard to have topics about. Well, it's not that I find. I guess this is sort of philosophy based. I kind of enjoy talking about stuff like this. I enjoy podcasts, especially Joe Rogan. I just enjoy different opinions and different ways people see stuff. So if you disagree or agree, leave a comment. I enjoy seeing other people's opinions. So that'd be really interesting to see what you have to say. But thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this kind of commentary, I guess, like and subscribe. That's just so basic, which everyone says now, but it's true. It helps. But yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.